Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike.
And I'm Jeff.
And this is Bottles and Cans, the show where we drink a beer or two and tell you what we think. Today, we have some interesting beers. They don't really have a brewery that all, knits them together, but we figured, in some way, some weird way, they probably belong together. So why not just drink them and tell you what we think?
Yeah, no hard correlation, just some beers that we've picked up along the way that we feel need to be out there, but can't really place them together with another beer. Mm-hmm. So they go well together the way we have them.
Yeah. So what's the first beer?
Well, I heard you have an Evil Twin.
Evil Twin. So Evil Twin Brewing is a weird brewery. Apparently they're out of Denmark. I did not know this, but they also apparently have somewhere here in Connecticut where there is also brewing. It's a weird story. Their can was rated one of the best, I think, best 20 cans or best 10 cans. I'll get the pour cam here. It's just kind of a crazy, weird can, and they say the Hipster Ale is the name of the beer, is a reference to how there are ales being brewed around the country or other places that are referring to how hipsterness or how hipster-y the towns are.
Hipster-esque?
Hipster-esque. There you go, says the guy with the handlebar mustache.
Shut your face.
But they say that this is for the... Whoa! We got a little bit of an overflow here. They say that this is for the people whose towns aren't cool enough to have a hipster beer named after them. These are for the global hipsters. And apparently it's really, really carbonated.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
I wonder if I shook it up a little bit on my way over here. I did not experience this with my beers. I've actually had this beer before. I'll just throw it out there, not a huge fan. But I wanted Jeff to try it, and I wanted to have it for the show here. So,
yeah, brewed by Evil Twin Brewing in Stratford, Connecticut, distributed by 12% in Brooklyn, New York. So who really fucking knows where this beer is from or what's going on with it? So, yeah, I don't. It's rated 82 on Beer Advocate,
which is a good rating, they call it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, and they consider it a technical good rating. It's 5.5% alcohol by volume. Obviously, gigantor head. It smells okay. I mean, for just an ale, it says ale on the can, but I think Beer Advocate listed it as a pale ale.
Mm-hmm.
And it does smell a little hoppy, and it does have that pale malt color to it. It's fairly hazy, that kind of pale golden color.
I don't know. To me, I smell kind of resiny hops, but I don't really smell any floral, and I don't smell citrus. And to me, I almost smell like a minty or maybe a clean air type situation. Like there's some sort of, I don't know. When I smelled it originally, I was like, this doesn't smell great. I just can't think of another pale ale or even brown ale or anything like that sort of smells like this. This is sort of just...
I don't really get a lot in the smell.
Mm.
I do get a little bit of that soap.
Yeah,
smell.
Soap or something. That's kind of, yeah.
Mm. This is a really bitter front taste to it.
Mm. I'm having trouble describing how much I dislike this beer.
So, I get a lot of bitter in the front, right on the front of the tongue too. And it hits you on the part of the tongue that is probably meant not to hit for bitter. And so it kind of leaves this flavor of detergent in your mouth.
It's a weird, like, cleaner detergent kind of something taste to it. I don't like this.
I've had better ales.
I think, do we need to say more? I don't know. Maybe we could be more specific.
Okay, let me be more specific. It sucks.
Yeah,
I'll be more specific than that, though. So I get a lot of really bitter, unorganized, not good bitter palate tastes. I get it in areas of my mouth that aren't meant for bitter tasting. I get it in...
well, and it's weirdly sweet, too. Like, for me, it's like just sort of not... It's all over the damn place. And it's gross. It just doesn't taste good. I don't think I've ever said that about a beer on this podcast. And I thought that many times, but I would drink these hipster ales. I would drink them because I had a 6-pack. I've had probably 4 over several different evenings at different points of enjoying beers. So I thought, oh, maybe it's just because it's always at the end and my palate's shot or whatever. But like, it's just bad.
Yeah. So I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's poorly executed.
I wonder if maybe the beers that I got, I'm trying to think back. I'm pretty sure they were warm, and they were at the beer place in Missouri,
Kansas City,
or Kansas City. So it hasn't been that long since I bought it, but who knows what it went through before we got it. I would hope a lot, because if somebody like brewed this beer on purpose, they probably shouldn't brew anymore. That's a mean thing to say, but this is really bad. I don't know.
Someone's livelihood.
Maybe somebody out there is like, oh my God, this is the best beer ever, but I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather drink a PBR than this, and PBR is more hipster.
Yeah, I agree. Holy shit, that's probably the best way to end this. PBR is more hipster and tastes better.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm not even going to finish this beer.
All right.
I'm good.
Let's go dump these out and get on to the next one. Our next beer is an Epic Brewing beer. We've had them before, and actually we have them back on because we screwed up last time.
Yeah.
We thought that they were
Screwed up.
Yeah, I screwed up. We, as we were looking into it, we thought that Epic Brewing was out of Denver, and that's not incorrect, but Epic Brewing actually first came out of Salt Lake City, Utah, which I should have known. They're actually the first brewery in Utah to brew only high-gravity beers, which I totally support 100%. If there's one thing Utah needs more of, and I have a lot of family there, is more epically brewed beers. What is this beer?
This is the RiNo Pale Ale. It's an American Pale Ale. It's rated 80 on Beer Advocate, which is odd that it's rated 80 and the hipster was rated 82.
Well, so Rhino is spelled R-I-N-O, and that's not Republican in name only. That's actually a reference to the River North area. Is it of Denver? Doesn't even matter. River North is some area. It's kind of like an arts district, and that's what they named it after. So I kind of dig it.
Yeah, you know, it's 8.5% alcohol by 5.8% alcohol by volume. I really didn't get a list of what hops they use or what IBU they are.
Oh, I know this. Combining the premium English Maris Otter malt with German specialty grains and Pacific Northwest hops. So it sounds like it's not very specific on what they would be. Probably Willamette, probably Cascade. You know the kind of hops we're talking about.
It's got a pretty dense head.
Yeah, that is a good thick head.
It's got a few of those rainbow looking bubbles that you like in it.
Yeah. Which actually, you know, I felt weird saying rainbow bubbles for such a long time, but the other day I was watching, I think it's Chop and Brew. I don't know if you've ever seen their series out on YouTube. If you're watching this, you probably have seen it. It's the guys from Northern Brewer. They used to work for Northern Brewer, the home brewing supply company. but they had a channel called Chop and Brew, and they talked about rainbowy bubbles too. I felt quite good about that. It's when it gets nice and resinous.
This is a good American Pale Ale.
Yeah.
At least compared to the last beer that we had.
I was gonna say by smell, I'm smelling heavier hops, but not really floral, not really citrus. It sort of seems to have that resiny kind of flavor to it.
Yeah, but I still get more citrus, at least on the taste.
I could see that.
And it's really clean. It almost cleansed my palate of the last beer, despite me going out and actually trying to cleanse my own palate from that last disgusting ass beer.
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of a run to the pretzels after that Hipster Ale. I kind of wonder if we got a bad batch or something.
I don't know, man. Don't make it again.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's your fair warning on that. The Rhino, though, so far, I mean, tastes to me like a pretty good basic pale ale.
Yeah, I am definitely not opposed to it. It's a little thicker for a pale ale, an American pale ale. It's not as, I tend to get a lot of those American pale ales that are like, they tend to be a little bit lighter.
Sure.
They're not as dense. They're not as thick as some of the IPAs you find out there on the market.
Well, these days, honestly, what am I thinking of? Like I'm thinking of the name Endless IPA from Goose Island, the session IPAs. Session IPAs actually end up tasting and being a hell of a lot like a pale ale.
Yeah.
Because they really are an IPA that's brewed to a lesser extent, and that's essentially what a pale ale is. So I kind of like this where it's a pale ale character, but it's the heaviness of an IPA. You've got a bit more body to it.
And I like that about, I agree with you. I like that about the body of these beers. And that's one of the reasons why I like some of the pale ales that I actually like. I can think of Odell does 2 really good pale ales. I think Boulder does a really good pale ale. And I'm trying to think who else does a really good pale ale that I like. Founders does a really good pale ale. And they're not IPAs. They don't have that over the top hop characteristics, but they still have that a little bit of floral, a little bit of citrus, that little extra bump of flavor, and when you get into just the pale ales, you start to have more of the body, the full body that goes with that. And I think this one does a really good job. I think the RiNo Pale Ale kind of hit the nose on the head.
So that actually explains the last one. I don't want to get too far into it because we're sort of past this beer already, but the previous beer that we tried was called the Escape to Colorado IPA, and it was from Epic Brewing. That's where the name comes from. They were out of Salt Lake. They made a new brewery in Denver, and so that was their Escape to Colorado IPA. But really, I mean, so as far as this goes, I dig this. It's a good, solid pale ale, and I think we won't be dumping this one out. All right.
I'll keep this one around.
Yeah. We'll finish this one up and we'll come back to you in just a minute. Everything's looking up. We got one last beer. It's called the WisconZin, not to jump the gun here, but I'm looking forward to this. I want to try it out.
So, Horny Goat Brewery.
I felt like somebody had to.
Does a lot of beers with fruit, I've noticed.
Yeah.
They do like a watermelon something or other, a strawberry, this and that. A whole bunch of different fruit beers. Well, this one, they took an IPA and they added in Zinfandel grape juice in the fermentation process. So you're having the characteristics of a red Zinfandel, which Zinfandels are really dark grapes. They're typically really like a dark wine. They're really, kind of earthy, peppery, thick dark mouthfeels. Well, you also have that added to an IPA. Now, we've had some wine beer mixtures in the past, and we've enjoyed them. They've been good beers. In fact, they usually turn out really well. There's a lot of similar characteristics between certain wines and certain beers that we like.
Well, and a lot of the beers we've had have actually been beers that were placed in wine barrels.
Right.
But this is actually the grape juice being added to the beer as it's fermenting. I'm interested in that. That sounds
We've had
like it
another
could
one
be
like
good.
this by Ska. Ska did a Malbec that was implemented into their stouts, and that was really good. They blended really, really well together, and we liked those. We liked that one.
Was Midas Touch, I think, was also another one, the ancient one from Dogfish.
So Midas's Touch from Dogfish Head, the 61 minute from Dogfish Head was also another one.
Oh yeah, it was.
The Midas's Touch was more of their ancient ale series.
Holy shit, we've had a lot of beer wine.
Yeah, no,
hybrids.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a lot of these, and they've done really well with us in the past.
Yeah,
We've really liked them. There've been they blend two really good things about two very different wines together and able to bring them together for us to enjoy.
Sure.
I mean, the Midas's Touch was a white wine, and the 61 was, I believe, a Pinot Noir, and the one from Ska was a Malbec. And this is a Zinfandel. So
just running the gamut.
Yeah,
I don't even know what these words mean. I'm not a wine guy, but I know that they're different kinds of wine.
yeah,
so
they
that's
all have
cool.
different characteristics of grape. Well, the grape is what labels the wine, and this is a Zinfandel grape, which leads us to a whole other flavor of wine for the flavor of beer that we're having. So I'm really excited for this one. It's an IPA, so we went from ale to pale ale to IPA. We also went from 5.5 ABV to 5.8 ABV to this one, which is a 7.1 ABV.
It's nothing to scoff at. It's good, solid ABV. Good, solid color, too. More head in mind than Jeff's. Good copper color, sort of an orangey yellow.
Oh.
And a fairly clear head, fairly white head.
If you go from dark light to really bright light, you can almost see a little bit of a red tinge to the beer, and I think that comes from, again, the Zinfandel grape juice. Now, it wasn't aged in Zinfandel barrels. They just added the Zinfandel grape juice to the fermentation process.
I like the smell. The smell, you can hear. You can smell the hops like perfectly well.
Yeah, so
you do get sort of a fruity, kind of sweeter back end, though. There is a little bit of that. I get a
really heavy floral smell.
Mm-hmm.
Really heavy floral smell. Almost.
And I guess that's what I'm calling fruity. Like it's a sweeter sort of. Yeah.
Like borderline, you just took leaves off of a plant and just stuck them in your face and smelled them. So, like, I have some grapevines in my backyard, and it smells as if I just took some of the leaves off the vines and put them right into my nose. Which, this should be a very interesting beer.
You know, I like it. I just had a little taste. Not a heavy wine character. You really don't. I mean, it's in there, but it tastes more like an IPA directly to me, with a little bit of a hint of that fruity, winey kind of taste.
Yeah, so I'm getting a lot. Man, this is really heavy in hop characteristic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heavy in the bittering characteristic of the hops. I wouldn't say that this is over the top fruity. I don't get a lot of those real citrus fruits that hops typically add to to a beer, but I do get some of the fruit taste to this beer. I get like strawberry or
strawberry and like a
plum,
mango, plum.
I'm getting like the really dense, dark, heavier fruits.
Maybe overripe apricots.
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of really tart, that citrus, that orange or lemon or grapefruit that you normally get with an IPA. I'm not getting any of those across the board. None of them.
I get a good solid fruity sort of. It's not even. I say fruity. It's more of a wine type note, and I get that more and more the more I drink it. You know, in
I'd say
small
plum.
amounts. Plum.
I'd say it's definitely plum. You definitely get a
think you're
plum
probably
note.
right.
And I definitely get the flower. The not like the flowers like out of the garden, like the fresh floral, really like almost taste you can get in your mouth as if you were like chewing on a petal of a flower. I don't get a whole lot of the citrus, and I think that's a typical characteristic of IPA.
Right.
But I think you add in that Zinfandel grape juice, and I think you're taking away some of that. But you're bringing to the table more of the berry, more of that that kind of earthy, dark, heavy, thick, berry to plum flavor. And I keep going back to plum, but that's really what I get a lot of.
Once you say it, yeah, I agree. It's very plum-like. The more I drink this, the more I like it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to this beer. I think, again, if you're going to add in fruit, I think this
Yeah, a
would
lot of people
definitely be
hate
the
on
way
the
to
fruit
go.
beers. A lot of people are like, nah, I don't like that. You know, to some degree, I'm sort of there with them, but this is worth a try. This is different.
Yeah, if you're the kind of person who's like, no, I want that bitter, I want that hop, I don't want the citrusy, fruity, I don't want the apple, I don't want any of that fruit beer junk, but you still like that hoppy IPA characteristic of beer, this would be a great beer for you to try. I mean, this beer brings into characteristic those fruit flavors without leaving you wanting the bitter and the hop, the bite.
All right, so we're going to drink these slowly as we continue here, but we'll be back shortly with our reviews and with the closing of the episode.
Shave off your mustache and take off your skinny jeans. We're going to rate this shit.
It's time to rate the Hipster Ale, and it's not going to be good. I can tell you that much.
No, it's not.
Jeff, where do you fall on your rating? 1?
1. I'll never order this beer again. 1. I'll never want to see this beer again. 1. I hope I never see this beer again. 1.
All right. 1 it is for Jeff. I think I rated it a 1.5, but I'm willing to go down because it's actually even worse this time.
Fucking disappointment.
It is a disappointment. I thought it was going to be good.
If you're a hipster beer, you should be hip to what's into beer, man. And this was nothing hip nor into beer.
No, wasn't
good. You're garbage. You didn't even wear skinny jeans. Go home.
This one's a little bit higher, I assume. The Rhino, the River North District Pale Ale from Epic Brewing, out of Salt Lake / Denver. That for me, I'll go first on this one. I actually enjoyed this one. It was a little more resinous. It wasn't quite as floral. It wasn't quite as mojo-y, I'll call it. But I enjoyed it. I think I would probably give it a 4. I think 4 is a fair grade as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm actually not opposed to that. I will give it a 4 as well. I would rate it right up there next to the Wolf Picker by Odell. And maybe the 5-barrel as well. The 5-barrel lately, though, I've only had on nitro, which makes a huge difference in the taste.
It is better on nitro.
But, you know, the Wolf Picker I had out of the bottle last time, and god damn, the Wolf Picker, I think I rated a 5 for a pale ale.
It is a really good pale ale.
That is by Odell, man. You guys do a damn good job. But the Epic Brewing RiNo Pale Ale, I will definitely give a 4.
Fair enough. And then the final one, again, I should mention, I realize we haven't mentioned in a few episodes, the Untapped rating scale is a 1 to 5 scale. It goes from 0 to 5 in half level increments. So take that for what it's worth.
It is what it is.
Yeah, the last rating, we just stuck with that because we all, everybody that we know uses Untapped. So
it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it works out pretty well. The last one is WisconZin from the IPA from Horny Goat Brewing out of Wisconsin. Where do you fall on that one?
You know,
it was interesting. I think we both agreed that it was a very interesting beer.
There's a lot of very unique characteristics that this beer has.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. I think the hops did a really good job, and so did the Zinfandel grapes. I think they did a fantastic job of blending the two. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.5.
And I would absolutely pick this beer up again. I think it was a good effort. For me, though, I'm probably a little bit lower. I'm probably in at the 4. I assumed Jeff would be at a 4.5, though. I'm not sure why. Maybe we just know each other that well. But
I like the grapes, too.
Yeah, no, the grapes are good. I really enjoyed the character that they brought to it without overpowering it. And I still think that there was enough IPA there that it didn't bother me that they had gone with this grape route and ignored the rest of their naming. So, yeah, overall, pretty awesome. I dug it. As far as the podcast goes, or as far as the show goes, I guess we'll call it a show now. I think we're done.
Got nothing.
Yeah, bottles and cans done again. 3 new beers. Hope you enjoyed listening to us, watching this. If you'd like to check out more from us, go to Bottles Cans. That's our Twitter name. No spaces, no nothing. You can find our stuff from there, and fuck Facebook. That's what we say every time on this show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, don't drink the Hipster IPA.
Don't drink Hipster IPA.
Or
this
pale
is
ale.
really
Hipster
shitty.
Pale ale. Hipster anything.
It's terrible.
That was garbage. Fuck that.
I'm kind of drunk.
Yep.